Shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praises and glory and honor to Yahweh Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Wakakadash. Double honors to the elders, apostles, and great Muslim, pushing the word truthfully and sincerely. And Shalom to Akim, scattered through the four corners of the globe, pushing the word truthfully and sincerely. And Shalom to Akim, that be like unto the speckled bird, pushing the word truthfully and sincerely. And I say Shalom to you, Akim, out there. And this is a quick sit-down lesson through the spirit, power, grace, and mercy of Yahweh Yahushua on this July the 28th, 2022 at 12:47 p.m. on this noon, on Thursday noon. And this is a news article and pertains to modern-day Babylon is falling on an economic scale. And this is a news article from NPR News, and it's published by David Gura, July the 28th, 2022. And a highlight of this news article, and it reads, the U.S. economy just had a second quarter of negative growth. Is it entering a recession? The U.S. economy shrank in the last 3 months by 0.9%. This is the second consecutive quarter where the economy has contracted in the first quarter. GDP, or gross domestic products, decreasing at an annual rate of 1.6%. While two consecutive quarters of negative growth is often considered a recession, it is not a official definition. A non-profit or non-Protestant organization called the National Bureau of Economic Research determines where the U.S. economy is in a recession. The Negro community made up 8 economists that makes determination, and many factors goes into that calculation. The U.S. White House has pushed back against calling the current economy a recession. It is no doubt aware of the role of the economy is going to play by the midterm elections. Can a recession, if there are many jobs are being created? The Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen noted in a recent appearance on the NBC's Met the Press that while 2 consecutive quarters of negative growth is generally considered a recession, conditions of the economy are unique. When you are creating almost 400 jobs a month, that is not a recession, she said. She still, either way you cut it, the economy has weakened. The GDP report shows that the business has retrenched. Undoubtedly, borrowing has become more expensive, with the Federal Reserve ratcheting up interest rates, right? The continual hyperinflation, even though the employment rate decreasing and the unemployment goes up as well too. I believe there was a report like 2 or 3 weeks ago, and they said the key word is whether will they start hunting job growth. And it says retailers have got inventories to work through, so those businesses were also spending less. And housing, which has been running hot during the pandemic, is starting to cool with mortgage rates rising, right? Because that goes into the housing market not so good, However, there were bright spots. Wages continues to rise. The people were treating themselves by going out to eat at restaurants, and also traveling. Income overrose, but few of recession has grown considerably as the Fed continues to hike interest rates aggressively to fight hyperinflation, which is not working, As I mentioned in my previous videos, doing, the Wall Street had the Federal Reserves continuing to increase the interest rates, as they try to ease the increase of inflation, which is not working. And it says the run-up of the previous downturns, for instance, the economy was shedding jobs, but the U.S. economy has been adding jobs a month. As Yale noted, this is not the economy. This is not a recession. Yellen said a recession is a broad-based weakening in the economy. We're not seeing that now. Yen also pointed to consumer spending, which has remained strong, and she highlighted positive data on the credit quality of Americans. I don't know, because you had throughout the whole year of 2022, gas prices was going up, the cost of living was going up, the food prices was going up, the taxes is going up. So, and then the economy shrank for the second time for the past 3 to 6 months in the year 2022. So that seems like most likely that is entering in a recession. It says the White House has taken pains to remind people that the 2 quarters of negative growth does not. And then you got to look at it how the market's been crashing as well too, because the markets is part of the economy as well too, as they consistently punching money into the Wall Street, into the economy as well too, especially throughout the whole year of 2022. With the war in Ukraine, with gas prices consistently going up, the hyperinflation, the cost of living, everybody bills consistently going up, and then that took a toll on citizens' wallet and their savings plans, their checking and savings, and their retirement plans as well too, furtherly increasing. It says the White House has taken pains to remind people that the 2 quarters negative growth doesn't automatically means that the economic is in a recession. At the midterms election approach, the White House is radically aware of the optics of a country recession, right? Because we haven't having a recession since the year 2008. And it seems like it's getting close to that once again. even if you did create jobs, stuff like that, and with the low unemployment rate, but you still got to look at everything is consistently going up. Gas prices going up throughout the whole year of 2022. The Wall Street been nonstop crashing. So that goes to show you signs of, and then the economy on a consistent basis been decreasing rather increasing. So that does show signs of a potential entering in recession. As the midterm, I just had added those notes to that. Continuing on with the reading of the news article. It says, as the midterm elections approach, the White House is adequately aware of the optics of a country into recess, where Americans are struggling financially. Yep, I just mentioned that. By the cost of so many things skyrocketing and inflation running at a multi-decade high. Even if people have like 3 to 4 jobs or a good career, with everything being so high, they still have to try their best to maintain, pay all these high bills. They phone bill be high, their cell phone bill be high. Rent consistently going up, gas prices been going up, hyperinflation been going up. So they try to maintain a balance to keep money in their pockets while maintaining paying bills for them and their families, have a roof over their head, clothes on their back, trying to be able to pay food because the food prices are skyrocketing. Consumer goods are at a all-time high. The inflation rate from 8.0 to 9.2, as the record shows, from the month of June. Now we're entering the month of July and heading into August now. So potentially it's going to increase now more than ever. It says Americans are struggling financially with the cost of so many things skyrocketing and inflation is running at a multi-decade high. and a lot of Americans are already taking it on the chin. And the majority, or 65% of registered voters who respond to a recent morning consult political poll said they believe we are ready in one. What are the marks of a recession? The Inbird says the tradition of a definition of a recession is significant decline in economic activity that is spread across the economy. That the last more than a few months. The employment is a part of the group calculates, and the labor market has continued to show signs of strength. In June, the unemployment rate held at a steady pace of 3.6, which is near its pre-pandemic low, and the economy added 372,000 jobs. I don't think the neighbor would look at the data right now. Said the economy is in recession, says Michael Gappin of the U.S. Chief Economic and Bank of America Securities. But it is unclear how Americans will care about whether the current economic satisfied Pacific highly technical definition of it doesn't. Parts of the economy are slowing already. What's clear to everyone is the economy is slowing, prices are rising at a fast pace in decades, and the housing market has started to cool as the field of federal rise interest rates aggressively. On Thursday, the central bank raised rates by additional 0.75 percent points. The economists acknowledged the headlines number on Thursday, how much the economy grew or shrank. On a percentage age base, it is likely to attract the most attention. But they said it is important into relying data. It says it's the piece of the puzzle that the matter when you are looking at the GDP, saying Michelle Miner of U.S. Chief Economic as the MasterCard Economic Institute. Amongst other things, we see if householding spending, which accounts 70% of all economy activities, that kept pace with inflation. But as Chair Fair Jermaine Powell and other policymakers have acknowledged, at a point like this where there is so much uncertainty, and when so many Americans are experiencing economic pain, settlement and expectations matter. At the key for the economy is not to lose too many jobs. It says, I think a lot of it comes down to, says Meyer, whether you have a job, whether you expect to keep your job, and what might mean for you future path of income. Right, so even if you have a good job, a good paying job, a good career job, you still got to look at the fact that, like I mentioned before, and I'm going to say it again, with the hyperinflation constantly continuing to grow. Oh, so that's the only dollar I had. So yeah, like I mentioned before, Salakia, I was talking to my brother. So yeah, like I was mentioning before, even if you have 2 or 3 jobs or a good career paying job, these American citizens, it doesn't mean whether the fact if you lose your job or you keep your job, or we're going to gain more jobs or adding more jobs or increase the employment rates and stuff like that. But you still got to look at the fact that the hyperinflation increasing, the cost of living constantly, consistently going up, and that affect American citizens and affect citizens around the world as well too. You look at situations like that, is everything constantly, consistently going up? Interest rate continue to go up. Tax hikes continue to go up in these cities where these citizens that have to pay all these taxes. You gotta pay your rent because rent is constantly, consistently going up every year with continued hyperinflation, to continue increase consumer spending. Because people got to worry about how can they be able to maintain or manage on a balanced scale of continue to save money in their pockets, to continue to say their saving funds, their saving account, their checking account, or their potentially retirement plan money as well too. And sometimes with everything going up so high, they have to take money out of that just to maintain paying their bills, even if they do have 2 or 3 jobs, working hard just to pay their bills. Oh yeah. Oh, he must have came in.
Yeah, he looked at it. He said, damn, it's big.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it looked up outside. So he was like,
Right.
ooh, Lord, let me talk to you.
Oh, thanks, man.
What is real, man?
Okay.
I was telling you about my car, so I saved the money up, trying to,
Right.
yeah.
It says this is your chance to help. Oh, it's just a survey thing. Yeah. Remember they sent you this in the mail last week? Yeah. This was a survey thing. That's all that is. Yeah. Right. Oh, Mom, while you up there, can you give me some Twizzlers?
Yeah, they got some. They should have. I hope they got a room book.
Yeah.
That's why I'm going to get, wood stuff. Stuff, I have wood clean.
Right. Just the regular Twizzlers. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, okay. So yeah, Salaki, I was talking to my OG. So yeah, like I mentioned before, even if you do to be able to maintain and keep your job or keep your career job, but you got to look at the fact that everything is constantly, consistently going up. Paying your rent, to be able to manage to pay your rent, because you got people that's got house mortgages like $1,600, or people just paying rent, just renting the houses. Sometimes it be like three to 4 bedrooms of a house. It'd be like $1,600 a month. And that adds up. Then you got to look at the other hand. You got to manage to pay your light bill, your gas bill, your phone bill, your cable bill, your internet bill. So you got to manage all these things. So that kind of affects an economy, Even if it doesn't matter, even if you do the labor marketing might be good, creating more jobs. Unemployment rate down 3.6 to 3.7 for an example. But you got to look at the inflation is messing people up. Especially on a financial sense. A lot of citizens struggling financially. You got to look at that part, because that affects the economy as well too. So yeah, we are definitely potentially entering in the recession. And I expect the economy to shrink now more than ever. Now this is what the second consecutive time that the economy has shrinked, and it's gonna shrink now more than ever. Now you got the Federal Reserves aggressively continuing the interest rates. Try to ease the inflations, which I highly doubt that's gonna happen. Even though the gas prices, oil production of gas is going down, like I mentioned in my previous videos, for the fourth consecutive week, close to a month now. But expect to see those gas prices to continue to go up, and expect to see everything consistently goes up as well too. And that can affect the citizens financially, and it's going to continue to affect the economy as well too. And I'm gonna bring out a scripture about modern day Babylon is definitely falling, especially economically. Definitely economically. And this is Jeremiah 51:8. This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 51 and verse 8. Babylon is suddenly falling. Just like ancient modern day Babylon fall. Now modern day Babylon, according to the Holy Scriptures, is falling. As we're seeing it definitely on the economic scale, and many other categories of issues as well too of modern day Babylon. But this is the main focus on the economic scale, that modern day Babylon is continuing to fall. And I'm gonna read it again for edification's sake. Jeremiah 51:8. Babylon is suddenly fallen and destroyed spiritually. How for her take bond for her pain, if so she may be healed. Right, because ain't no healing in modern day Babylon, especially on the economic scale, on the economic sense. So it's going to continue to fall economically. The economy shrink once again for the second consecutive time, and it's going to continue to deteriorate and continue to decrease. Because modern day Babylon is falling on the economic scale. And I'm bringing this last scripture out, and then I'm gonna close out the lesson for today. This is Revelations 18:2. And we are definitely living in the book of Revelations. You can plain straight see it, especially what's going on in the world today. The wars and rumors of wars. Second war was past, third war coming quickly. And modern day Babylon is falling economically. And we are definitely living in the book of Revelations. It's straight plain see. We see it right before our eyes, Especially modern day Babylon is falling economically, And verse 2 in the book of Revelations in the Holy Scriptures, and it reads, "And he cried with a mighty strong voice, saying, Babylon the great is fallen, and is become a habitations of devils, and a hole of every foul spirit, and a cage, an unclean for hateful bird." Right, because this place is falling economically, and it is falling in many different aspects as well too. It can be from political sense, economic sense, gender roles, and that factor as well too, in many other categories. But I'm not going to get deep into that. But I'm just focused on the economy of modern day Babylon is continuing to fall. It is going to continue to fall now more than ever, in the last days, So with that, I hope this was edifying through the spirit, power, grace, and mercy of Yahweh Yahushua. And first and foremost, I'd like to give all praises and glory and honor to Yahweh Ba'ashem, Yahushua Ba'ashem, Wakakadash. Double honors to the elders, apostles, great millstone, pushing his word truthfully and sincerely. And shalom to the Akim, scattered through the four corners of the globe, pushing his word truthfully and sincerely. And shalom to the Akim, that be like unto the speckled bird, pushing the word truthfully and sincerely. And before I close out the sit-down lesson on this July the 28th, 2022, on this Thursday afternoon at 1:11 p.m. Central Standard Time. So modern day Babylon is going to continue to fall on an economic scale, as we see the economy shrinking for the second consecutive time this year so far in the year 2022. Expected to see it fall now more than ever. So with that, I will say shalom and above all.